Verse 411. Because of the Alayavijnana, the Vijnana system is evolved. Because of inner support, there is something externally appearing. The story is that we live in a physical world, and we know this because of what our senses tell us. And this was described in detail a couple of verses ago in verse 409. And I thought perhaps there was a misprint in verse 409. The six senses, the objects of the senses, what the senses are aware of, and awareness of these objects, these are the 18 dhatus, were said by the Buddha to be of the mind. And mind here was spelt with a capital M. And I said perhaps that's a misprint, should be small m. But perhaps not, because here we've got the Alayavijnana being the cause for all this, being the cause for the elements of existence, because this is what the dhatu, because this is what dhatu means. It means element. Our sense perceptions are actually the elements of physical existence, because without these sense perceptions, we wouldn't be able to say there was anything. So here in verse 411, we're told that because of the Alayavijnana, which is actually mind with a capital M, the Vijnana system is evolved. Or just Vijnana. Vijnana is consciousness of everything that's going on. Consciousness of sights, sounds, tastes, feelings, and smells and thoughts. That's everything that's going on. This is the inner support to something externally appearing. So this is a little confusing, because mind is often the goal. It's often described as the goal in the Lankavatara Sutra, mind only, sometimes referred to as citta. So our goal as enlightenment practitioners is that which is lending us to believe in physical reality. This might seem rather confusing, but then again, it's simply appreciating the nature of consciousness. Once again, the power of the nature of consciousness or awareness, because whatever consciousness is aware of, it gives reality to that. Even if you're watching a film or reading a book, you enter into the story and you go along with it, even though you know it's a story. And this is what the enlightenment practitioner does. The enlightenment practitioner knows that we're living in a story, but goes along with it. It's the nature of consciousness to dream, after all. So this is what we need to appreciate. This belief in an external physical reality is actually consciousness at work. So this is actually very useful. If you've listened to some of these videos and you've been scratching your head about this teaching that the world doesn't really exist, well, perhaps there's a way into it here. You've just got to look at your own feeling that the world exists, your own conviction. And I think conviction's a good word, because a conviction isn't simply what you believe in, it's what you're imprisoned by. You're imprisoned when you're a convict. So when you see this, it's a very similar feeling to when you're in a dream. And even when you know it's a dream, it seems so real. But this is consciousness, consciousness at work. This is the power of consciousness. So it says, because of inner support, there is something externally appearing. This inner support is the power of consciousness. But we have to realize there isn't something externally appearing. It might be more accurate if the verse said, there is something apparently externally appearing. Although when you're stuck in it, when you're convicted by it, then that is indeed the reality for you. This is spelled out in the next verse. The unintelligent imagine the Samskrita and the Asamskrit to be permanent, while they are not, as they are like the stars, a hairnet, an echo, or things seen in a dream. And Samskrita and Asamskrita can be understood as the belief that there's a physical world out there and it's made up of atoms. But I think I'll say more about that in the next video.